So you came here for this. This is the SmallRig monitor mount, but it does so much more than just mounting your monitor onto your camera. You can mount it onto here, you can mount it onto there, you can even mount it onto there. I'm going to go over what I've been using this thing for, and I'm going to tell you right now, I love this thing. The build quality is fantastic. I've used it for so many things: mounting lights, monitors, top handles, microphones, on a tripod, light stand, you name it. This thing is fantastic. It is so versatile, not just for monitors. I mean, that's its primary usage, I suppose. But yeah, I'm going to go over kind of what I've been using it for and show you the different things you can do with it. First things first, though, this is what I used to use. This is a cheap, I don't know, under $10, maybe $10, Amazon little mini ball head thing, and it was fine. It served its purpose. The problem with it, I'm going to show you what the problem with it was. And I can't remember if it was like this from day one, but it's kind of turned into this. The problem is see this knob here? This knob here obviously loosens the ball head portion of it, but it also loosens the base, right? When you tighten this thing is supposed to stay tight, right? But it doesn't. It turns, right? Terrible. So when you have it mounted on the camera, see if I can do this gracefully. There. I usually try to keep the notch in the front, obviously, because it'll give the most adjustment for the angle of the monitor. All right, and then I put my monitor on it, and this is dumb because you have to actually spin the monitor on it to get it on there, and then kind of tighten it that way. So the problem is once you tighten everything and you get everything the way you want it, you think, perfect, right? No. This thing still turns, right? So this is tight, this is tight, this is tight, and the thing still turns. Kind of counterproductive, right? Like I said, I don't know if it was like that from the beginning. It probably was. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it's just worn out. Who knows? But anyway, got rid of this thing, got that thing, never been happier. So I'm just going to take this off of here, take it off of there, toss it off to the side. I'll probably find something to use this for. I don't know. I'm not going to throw it away. It'll just go in my bag or whatever. But anyway, so I got this thing, SmallRig monitor mount, picked it up off of Amazon. Like I said, I'm really happy with it. A few different ways you can use it. I've got one of their top handles that I use every now and then. You can obviously mount the top handle onto the camera using my older Pentax K30 as my little demonstration camera, because I am filming with the camera that I usually use this thing with. But for purposes, I'm just using my older camera. So that'll go onto there like that. Everything looks fantastic. You see that? Like so. All right. And then what you can do is, the nice thing is you don't have to spin the monitor to get it on. You can just use the actual mount itself to mount it on there. But yeah, so you have that kind of nice little setup there. Very kind of pro looking with the old top handle and the monitor on there. All right, looks good. I've got a couple of different cables that go from the monitor to the camera. Depending on if I have this mounted directly to the cold shoe, I have a shorter HDMI cable that goes from the monitor to this. If I have it on the top handle, I've got a slightly longer one that I kind of have to double up and put into the port. But either way, it's fine. Everything's kind of out of the way, nice and tight. The cool thing about the top handle is it also has a front cold shoe mount for, say, a microphone or whatnot. You can kind of throw on the front there and kind of have yourself an even sort of more little pro setup on that. The Azden SMX10 is a fairly, I guess, longer shotgun mic. It is a stereo shotgun mic. I've been pretty happy with it. I was thinking to go to maybe one of the Rode ones. It's a little bit smaller, but I'm pretty happy with this for now. So you keep that. But yeah, so that's that. So what you can do is you can either have it on the top handle, like so, or you can, I'm just going to loosen this off, put that there. real easy to work with. Build quality is awesome. Really, really, really happy with it. Both this and this. Fantastic little things. But what you can also do is not just use it for your monitor, you can use it for a light. I've got a few of these LED lights. This one's from Godox, the M150. Again, picked it up for pretty cheap. Seems to work pretty good. I've got some smaller little, what's the brand? Lumicube. I've got a couple of those. Some of the aperture ones as well. Picked those up for pretty cheap. But yeah, they all kind of mount onto the same thing. You just kind of thread it on there. Like so. Then you have a nice little kind of little light setup on your camera. Right, sort of fill light if you want to sort of just use the LCD screen on the back of your camera, and you need to use this for some sort of lighting. You can use it for that. So again, adding to the versatility of it. Obviously, you change the angle like you can with the monitor. Sort of a little. Those are, I'd say, the primary two things that I've used this thing with mostly since I got it. The monitor and the light on the camera. And the top handle. So another thing that I found out that I could use this thing for, I had a need to do some work with the microphone, and you need to put it on a tripod or a stand or of some sort. And the problem with this thing is it doesn't have a threaded hole in the bottom of it. All right, so it won't move. You know, I have one of these things. It's a cheap little vlogging style mini tripod thingy. Picked up for quite cheap. But anyway, so the problem with this is it won't go on, right? So what I discovered is if I put this on here, because it does have a threaded hole in the bottom of it, quarter 20 threaded hole in the bottom of it, mount that onto the little mini tripod, and oh, but this still won't go on. Oh no, what do I do? I dug around through some boxes and I found this old sort of flash sync cube thing that I haven't used since probably the 90s. But it has a quarter 20 threaded hole in the bottom of it. So I can mount that onto there. If you have an old flash system or whatever that uses like the old sync cubes, because as you can see, there's a little sync port on it. Pick one of those up. I'm sure you can pick them up from Amazon for pretty cheap too. But anyway, maybe you have one in a box like I do. But because it has a hot shoe, cold shoe mount on it, I can just slide the microphone right into there gracefully. Maybe not. Yeah, there we go. And I now have an adjustable microphone stand. So I can use the small rig to direct the microphone. Again, this is a stereo shotgun mic that I can direct the audio to, all using this cheapy cheap thing. I mean, you could mount, I think you could mount this thing to, I don't know, this thing to this thing, maybe just use the stand, but I find that this gives you the ability to, you know, if you had a microphone that has a threaded quarter 20 hole in the bottom of it, then you wouldn't need this thing. But if you don't, you can always maybe find one online for super cheap and use it as such. But yeah, I mean, if you did have a microphone that had one, you could just mount it directly onto there. But unfortunately, that's not my situation. So I had to make do. But yeah, so there you go. The small rig monitor mount. Love it. You can use it for microphones. You can put it on your top handle. You can put lights on it. You can put monitors on it. You can mount it directly to your camera. You can mount it directly to this. You can mount it directly to a tripod. The versatility of it is fantastic. I really, really, really like it. I would recommend it. Yeah, I'll probably buy more of their stuff in the near future because their build quality is awesome. Well, that's it for this week's video. If you liked this video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. It really helps me out. I will see you again in the next video. Thanks, everybody. Bye.